Welcome back to part 3 of this full stack tutorial where I show you how to build this Spotify VR player. In this video I'll be showing you how to build the front end or UI for this project. So let's dive right in. And we'll start by jumping right into our world file. We're going to add a few React functions that we'll need. We'll need useState and useEffect. And we'll create a constant called track. This will hold our data we get from Spotify. It'll have a name, an album, images, which will come in the form of a URL. Then we'll have an artist, and the artist will also have a name. Next, we'll add a few constants using the useState hook. We'll have an isPaused, which will be set to true. We'll have isActive, which will be set to false. Player, which will be set to undefined. And then current track, which will be set to our track that we created above. Again, we'll be using our useEffect hook, and inside of here, we'll create a script element using document create element script, and we'll set the source to https sdk scdn.co/Spotify player.js, and this is how we'll be using the Spotify SDK. Then we'll set script.async to true, and then we'll add document.body.append child, and this is how we'll add the script. Then we'll need to add window on Spotify web playback SDK ready, and inside of here we'll create a player. We'll set it to new window.spotify.player, and we'll create it by passing in um, a name. We'll call it Spotify VR. Get auth token will be the token um, that's passed into this component through props, and then we'll set the volume to 0.5. Then we'll set our constant player to the player we just created using the set player function, and then we'll add a listener through player.addListener, and this will listen for whenever the device is ready or it's connected. It'll console.log ready with device ID, and it'll include the device ID in there. Then we'll add another listener for not ready, and this is when the device is disconnected or it's offline, and this will console.log device ID has gone offline with the device ID. The next listener we'll add will listen to see if the player state has changed. This could be an example if a track is changed. In here, we'll add an if condition to check if the state even exists. If it doesn't, we'll just return. If it does, we'll update our track by using set track, and we'll set it to state.trackWindow.currentGetCurrentTrack, and then we'll also update set paused using state.paused. Then we'll say player.getCurrentState, and we'll update our isActive via setActive. If a state doesn't exist, our setActive will be false. If one does exist, then our setActive will be true. Outside of this listener, we'll add player.connect. This method will perform the connection of our new Spotify instance. And below this, we'll add a couple of constants that use document.querySelector to select elements. We'll create one for a play button, our next button, and our previous button. And then for each one of these, we'll add an event listener, a click event listener. For the play, inside of that event listener, once we hear a click, we want to say player.togglePlay. For next, we want to say player.nextTrack. And then for previous button, we want to say player.previousTrack. Next, we'll jump into building our UI. Now, typically, web applications are built using HTML, and though this might look like HTML, this is actually A-frame components and A-frame tags that we're going to use. We're going to start off by adding our assets inside of the A assets tag. These are the assets that I showed in the beginning when I was going through the project. We have our glass frame, we have our play, pause, next, and previous buttons, and we also have those Spotify logos that we'll add to give it more branding. On top of this not being HTML code, we can't actually add HTML code into A-frame. Uh, we can't add div tags or paragraph tags or any header tags. So we're just pretty much going to have to use tags and components that A-frame provides. The main or the basic component that you can build anything out of is an entity, a entity tag, and that's what we're going to start off by adding. We're going to add an a entity tag that's going to serve as our base for our UI. I'm going to give it an ID of UI, and then I'm going to set the position to these coordinates. Now I already went ahead and played around with this, and uh, that's where I got these numbers for the position, but you can play around and mess and change however you want to position your UI. Next, inside of our entity, we'll add a second entity tag, and inside of that, we're going to add an image with the source being our Spotify logo. We'll set the scale for this, and we'll save this and quickly take a look at what we've done so far. So I'll save this and open up the web browser so you can see what this looks like so far. And so far we can just see the Spotify logo there. And we'll probably move this, but next thing I want to do is I'm going to create something called a mixin. And what a mixin does, it's a way to reuse commonly used properties for a component. You can define them inside of assets, and you'll just add an a mixin element. And then inside of here, we're going to add all the properties. So we'll give it an ID of frame. Our geometry, we'll set it to a primitive, and it's going to be a plane with the width set to 2.3 and the height set to 3. Next, our material, we're going to give it a source, and this is going to be our glass frame that we added, the PNG file. We'll set transparent to true, and then we will come back down here, and then we'll add another entity tag. This tag will give it an ID of music frame. The position will set it to 0.128 and 0.05. Now, so we can use that mixin, you say mixin equals to, and you give it the name of the mixin that you created. So now, as you can see, we have our glass frame up here. Um, the position doesn't seem to be correct, so I'll just change this, and then yeah, that looks better. But we still have to move our Spotify logo up. So I'll go ahead and set that position for that. And now if we go back, it looks much better. So yeah, it's coming out pretty nice, as you can see. So now let's start adding some buttons. We'll add another entity tag, and we'll give it an ID for our play button. Material will be the play button asset, and the position will give it 0, negative 0.85, and 0.52. Now we'll come back up and we'll create another mixin. This time it'll be uh, called button. We'll give it again a geometry of primitive, plane, and then our width and height we'll set it to zero point 0.5, and then we'll just set our material to transparent, and we can go ahead and add this mixin into our button entity, and we'll have a look at what it looks like. Okay, and so now we'll just repeat the step for the rest of the buttons. For the next and previous button, we'll just create entities. I'm just going to copy and paste it and then change the ID, material, and the positions. And if we take a look, it looks good, but I'd want these next and previous buttons to be a bit smaller. So I'm going to create another mixin and this call it track change. And then here I'll set the width and height to be a bit smaller. I'll just set it to 0.3. And then if I replace the button mixin with the track change one for both of these buttons, there, it looks much better to me at least. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a function called connected, and what we're going to use this for is to display our image for the song that's playing or display a message that says connect device. We're going to add an if statement, and using our current tracks we're going to check to see if there's an album and then if there's images, and then we'll grab the first image from our image array, and from that check to see if that has a URL. If that's true, we're going to return an A image. And the source for this image is pretty much just going to be that image from the current track, the same check that we had up there in our if statement. If this isn't true, we're going to just return an entity that has a scale of 4 by 4 by 1, the position be 0, dot 2, and 0, and then the text value is going to say connect device, and we'll set align to center. It's basically going to be a text that'll be displayed if there is no current track. And then where we would add this is inside of our music frame entity. We'll add it in here. And then this function should just run and return either an image or an entity with a text connect device. And we can go ahead and check this out. So yeah, you should see connect device because we don't have any current track. So now coming back, something else that we're gonna go ahead and add is another mixin. This time we're gonna add one called poster. We'll just go ahead and copy this one here and then just paste it, and we'll just change the name to poster. So this one, we're gonna change the width and height to the 1.55. For our material, we're gonna set the color to white and make our shader flat. And then we'll just set the position to be inside of the glass frame. And then we can go ahead and add this mixin to our image inside of the connected function. So now let's actually connect the device and we'll see the project start to come together. I created a playlist on my phone to play a few songs, and I'll pull up my phone. Here you can see I got a song that's playing. If I click connect to Spotify VR, I should get notified that I'm connected, and now I should be able to hear the song play. Here I'm just skipping to the next song on the playlist. No me importa lo que de. About Z hit the club. Yeah, yeah. So we're able to see that the functionality is working. We're able to play songs, skip through them, play and pause them. Now let's work on our buttons. So as you notice, when we click on us on the play button, it just stays on play. We're gonna add functionality so that it'll switch between pause and play. To do this, we're gonna add another use effect hook, and inside of here, we're gonna create a constant play that grabs our play button by using a query selector and grabbing that play button ID. Once we've done this, we can set our attribute, which is going to be our material, and we'll set the source of our material. It's going to be the play and pause image that we added to our assets. We're going to check is paused. So whenever is paused is true, we'll display the play button image, and whenever it is paused as false, we'll display the pause button image. So it's just your typical play pause button functionality. So now let's have a look, make sure this is working. Yep, seems like it's working. So I did remove the audio just so you could see, not have to listen to music every time I click play or pause. But the next thing that we're going to focus on is our hover effect. So whenever we hover over the buttons, we're not sure if we're actually over them or if we're clicking on them. And I mean, it's hard to tell once you're hovering over a button. So what we're going to do is add an effect that makes the buttons grow in size, get a little bigger once we hover over them. And we'll add this for all three of the buttons that we have. And we'll actually just add this to our mixins. The first one is our button mixin, and we'll add an animation scale. And then inside of here, we'll say property scale to 1.3 by 1.3 by 1.3, duration 200, and then start event mouse enter. So upon the mouse entering, it'll increase its size. Then we'll add an animation scale reverse, and we'll copy the same stuff um, from the animation scale and add that into our animation scale reverse. The only things we'll change is the scale to. We'll just set everything to 1, and once the mouse leaves, that's when the reverse will happen. So if we come here and test it out, we can see that it's working. Once we enter, it grows, and once we leave, it goes back to its normal size. Now we can go ahead and copy this same animation for our other buttons. So we'll just copy both this animation for scale and scale reverse and add it into our track change mixin for our other buttons. And if we go back, we can see that now all the buttons function the same way when you hover over them. They just grow, and then once you stop hovering over them, they go back to their normal size. And this just makes like a better user experience, so that you know that you're actually hovering over the button, and once you click on it, it should perform its functionality. And if we go back, we can see that now all the buttons function the same way when you hover over them. They just grow, and then once you stop hovering over them, they go back to their normal size. And this just makes like a better user experience, so that you know that you're actually hovering over the button, and once you click on it, it should perform its functionality. But that will pretty much wrap it up for this video. I did host this project on this link, spotify-vr.player.onrender.com, if you'd like to check it out and connect with your Spotify account. Thank you very much for all the support, and until next time.